Good evening. Ira Epstein with your SPDR ETF stock market update, and this is your market wrap-up for Wednesday, the 7th of May, 2025. Well, NVDA took off late in the day. You know what? It came out of the White House that the president doesn't think that the tariffs, the way they were set up on semiconductors by President Biden, is the right thing to do. If you'll recall, President Biden put in 3 tiers where some 17 countries were in the first tier. They can get all the hot NVIDIA chips. Then you add another tier of 100 and some odd countries, and I think it was, or 75, I forgot myself, and then a last tier. And he said it right. He said, we want to sell Saudi Arabia. They want to buy from America, and we want to sell them the F-35 jets. And we won't let them buy AI chips from NVIDIA. Does this make sense? I don't think it does. They've got the top technology we have in our fighter jets, and we're not going to let that. So the president's on to something. He made the statement. Don't read it wrong. This does not mean there won't be export controls on chips. It's going to be modified, more realistic with whatever that means. There will be input from NVIDIA, there will be input from AMD. All the big players will be in this talking to the president. So that's good news, and we will see how that turns out. You saw that Netflix continued to gain, Amazon today up, and what was today? The FOMC. So we had the FOMC meeting, and as I prepped you, the Fed did nothing, and they're going to do nothing until the data changes. So the Fed chair spent basically 40 minutes saying the same thing over and over, that yes, labor's in a good place, it's still strong, doesn't know. They even asked him, what number would make you say that we got to turn our attention to labor and cut? He didn't fall into the trap. It's probably 4.4, 4.5%. As for inflation, he admitted it's not a good picture if you get unemployment increasing and inflation increasing at the same thing. The word that's called is stagflation. Be careful of that. That could be a real problem for the market. We had a lot of earnings today and so on. So before we get into that, let's do that, in fact, right now before we get to the charts. You're going to get the U.S. first quarter preliminary non-farm productivity at 7:30. Economists are looking for productivity down 0.7. The fourth quarter of last year was up 1.5%. Initial claims, unemployment claims, coming in, they think, at 230,000. That'd be a decline from last week. Wholesale inventories and sales data at 9. The Fed at 2 o'clock, while the FOMC meeting was going on, the Federal Reserve consumer credit headline came out, and right across the board, the consumer keeps spending money like there's no tomorrow. AMD, solid beat. Supermicro, Rivian lowered the amount of cars to be sold. This was a lot of it from yesterday, by the way. I thought there were more coming there and here. So we saw today earnings that were interesting that markets are trying to go with. But you're going to get earnings every day now. Do we understand that? The big boy, which is NVIDIA, that'll be later. Remember that, and I'll get into the charts in a moment here, my combo package in the morning. At 9 in the morning, I start recording, and I do it intentionally at 9. I want the stock market open 30 minutes first. I record my SPDR ETF subscriber video. It's in that video. I am saying, I want you to buy this stock. I want you to buy this ETF. You can go short this. It's not for everybody. I realize that, but I do say it, and I make that very clear. This do off a weekly chart. We'll do this off of a daily chart. Here's the stop. Here's the objectives. Here's how you peel. And I assume you're going to have 100 shares. And then I give you, do you buy 50 shares at the beginning? 100. Generally, it's 100. And then we start peeling shares off to get on the market's money if we can. If you're wrong, we'll have a stop. Away you go. Take a look at it. We have trades on already a year and a half. So don't tell me that we don't sit long term. You can, and we do. And we track them every day in the video. So give yourself an area. Go to iraepstein.com research. There'll be an icon up here as well. Okay? So let's now take a look, if we could, at the charts and go right to where we were. You can see, by the way, the auto's basically unchanged for GM, Ford down 16 cents. Sort of interesting because Ford makes more stuff here in America, you know what I'm saying? Uber today down. You saw that their numbers, they're great numbers. They're just not great enough right now. So we'll have to see how that's all going to play itself out. Google got hit very hard today as you heard a statement come from Apple, where Apple in a, I guess, court testimony was talking about that for their Safari, they might leave using Google and go with more of an AI orientation. Well, you're talking billions of dollars because every phone that Apple has comes with the Google. Now, what if they get rid of that? Uh-oh. So we are looking at transitions that are happening, and you've got to keep your mind on that. When we look at AI, came right back today, you have this sideways action. The market's not telling us which way it wants to go from there. The pattern when you have the swing line on it is lower highs, lower lows. You wouldn't see that unless you put the swing line on. So the trend is down. The market's got the bias up because it's over the 18-day average of closes. Therefore, when the two fight each other, I see nothing at work in the chart. And it fell back from the upper Bollinger Band. At the same time, the momentum in the chart, is it embedded or overbought? In order to be embedded, these numbers have to be over 80 3 days in a row. You don't have it. You're just an overbought market at this point. In the SFM, the Sprouts Farmers Market, I was looking for the market to retrace when we lost the bullish embedded reading. Let me show you. Let's go back right here. Here's the market with the numbers you can see. They're both over 80. You lose it. Price before it goes back up and visits that high should, doesn't mean it have to, should go to the closest moving average under it. It's the red line, the 18-day average. Tell me what the market did. I'm pretty comfortable with that. Avgo, Broadcom, AVGO. You're up at big resistance. It's still embedded. So I do think, again, that the pros were buying the market. I think they kick right here some of what they bought. They're not giving up their whole position until the red line closes under 79. So that's what I continue to think will happen. I teach this in the enhanced Bollinger Band course on our website, iraepstein.com, under courses. Google, look at how this market got hit. Again, I'm going to explain. Losing one of its biggest, I think it's $20 billion a year that they get for that. That's a lot of money that's at risk here. Notice where the market stopped, just magically. Don't you agree? Now, the news didn't stop it at the 18-day average. It went to the lower band and stopped. Look at how it stopped at the upper band here. Learn to work with those bands. In Netflix, no, I'm still friendly. Until you get the red line closing under 79, this market's bullish. When you lose it, that's when I think it'll retrace possibly to the 1062 area. Robinhood has no trend the way I'm viewing it. Higher high, lower low. I see the support as the 100-day average and the 18-day, but you're overbought. I'll let somebody else put their money at work. I am bearish, as I said yesterday and today, on the energies. I still question if these tariffs, we haven't seen the bite yet from them. It's coming. And when it comes, it'll hit you right between the eyes. I again saw that the traffic out of China to the United States, it's arriving at the ports, is down 30 to 40%. That's an awful lot. On stocks, higher lows, higher highs, still bullish. XLF into the resistance, embedded reading, still in the friendly camp. In XLI, higher lows, now higher high. You don't want to see the market really drop from here. It's into a key resistance area. It's right at the 100-day average and the 200. So this has still got a good look to it. It's a momentum trade. When you trade momentum, it's as long as the market stays over the 80 number. So when that happens, breaks are being bought in the market gives up on other things on the chart, and it's a bail, if you will, when that momentum's lost. But you still use the moving averages, the Bollinger Bands. Energy, XLE. looking weak, but it closed up 3 cents today. I was surprised because futures were lower. I still think this market could be into that 78.33 level. In the gold market, I think that the highs you hit yesterday are a problem for the market. I'm not seeing a trend. I'm seeing a lower low, a higher high in the marketplace. I'm looking at silver, and it had no trouble closing back under the 18-day average of closes today. I don't like that. I think it was weighed by the copper market, and the copper let go. And as I said, I looked at the Chinese plan. My opinion of it was an ugly plan. And you can see the momentum starting to turn down. It is a candidate to go back to the 37.80 level, but it's not bearish. It's got bullish bias. There's just nothing in it. I expected TLT and BND to do nothing today with the Fed. That's very much what's going on, a nothing market. In the dollar, you've got the bias up, the trend down with the lower highs, lower lows, and you're in an overbought market. In an FXE, higher lows, higher highs, but under the 18-day average, so the bias is down. You're going to start straightening this all out now. The market wanted to get through the jobs report, the PMIs that we had, if you'll recall, last week. And now you're beyond all that. So we start getting into just the regular data that we have. You'll start seeing the market change its character again. I'm Ira Epstein. Take advantage. Join me in the morning in those videos. I think you'll like what you see. It's very specific to buy here, sell there, do this, do that. And again, if you're trading stocks, it's 100 shares at a time. Let's assume you're a 10-share person. You just take the ratio to 10. You decide what you're doing. I'm Ira Epstein. I'll see you in the morning. Newsflash update. Take care.